Well, thank you, Mr. U.S. Attorney. You should take a look around. This is what righteous law enforcement looks like. This is what happens when you back good cops. This is what happens when you fund law enforcement. This is what happens when you back the blue. And this is what happens when you take the handcuffs off law enforcement and put them on the perps where they belong. This representation up here of tremendous leadership from state and local partners has been the priority of this FBI since I took over. There's nothing this FBI does that we can accomplish without our state and local partners. It is an interagency process at the federal level, as the U.S. Attorney talked about, but more importantly, it is an interagency partner process at the state, local, and tribal level. And here in West Virginia, I'm honored to be here today to talk about not just Operation Turf War, but you see some of these signs scattered across the room here. I want to talk to you about us launching Operation Summer Heat 2.0, and I want to get you there in a minute, but I want to talk about the history of why we're here and why it's so important for me to be here today. Specifically, Operation Summer Heat was launched last year in conjunction with state and local partners across the United States of America. It was a 3-month surge that we created at the FBI, where we went out to the country, the communities in our country, and said, we are going to attack violent crime. We are going to go to the epicenter of guns and drugs. And what that means is we are going to take out localized street gangs wherever they are. And that is what we did. Last year alone, Operation Summer Heat netted 8,600 arrests, 7,750 search warrants executed, 2,300 firearms taken off the street, and 45,000 kilograms of cocaine. That's just a 3-month surge from last summer. Today, we are announcing Operation Summer Heat 2.0. Operation Turf War is the start of the FBI Summer Heat Initiative for this summer. Under President Trump's leadership and Attorney General Todd Blanche, we have a clear directive, a clear mission, and we're answering that with poise and resolve for the American community. We're talking about great operations that led us here, like Operation Spring Cleaning, which was just the last few months to get us to this point. And the reason I want to talk about these operations, and the U.S. Attorney indicated that, these statistics are staggering. Because the prior administration allowed an explosion of violent crime to take our kids away from us, to take away their futures, to rob our communities of safe streets and communities, to rob us of the places we hold dear to our hearts, including places of worship and our homes. These operations, these men and women have saved thousands of lives just today. In our spring cleanup operation, leading up to Operation Turf War today, we've arrested 1,470 individuals responsible for conducting joint operations across the country, not just here in West Virginia, but every single state, seizing nearly 1,000 firearms together, executing 580 search warrants, and seizing 2,700 pounds of narcotics and other illicit material. But we are here today to talk about the promise of things like Operation Turf War, which is the official launch of the FBI's campaign for Summer Heat 2.0. And the only reason Summer Heat was successful is because of the state and local partnership that you see up here that's represented across the country in every single jurisdiction I have the privilege of walking into. And coming in here and landing here and coming in and meeting the team on the ground, I knew immediately why we were so successful. Every single one of these folks gives their lives for the safety of our nation, for the safety of our communities. They put the other lives before they put their own. They put service above everything else. And that is why this administration under President Trump will always relentlessly, mercilessly back the blue. We will go after every animal, every predator, every drug trafficker, every terrorist that dares to come into our country and try to take away our freedoms because they're jealous of the way we live. This is this FBI answering the call of the community that was needed the most. And Operation Turf War here, right here in Martinsburg, West Virginia, is a successful, massively successful, as the U.S. Attorney said, arrest of over nearly 3 dozen individuals attacking the localized street gangs that terrorize not just West Virginia, but multiple jurisdictions to include South Carolina and also parts of Pennsylvania. Together, we had executed through 7 SWAT teams and 100 FBI agents on the ground, along with all of these individuals and their fine folks. We were able to collect evidence, execute search warrants, and mete out justice properly to safeguard our communities. We took no shortcuts. But the FBI has invested in technology and the future of law enforcement. Done are the days of the antiquated systems that used to run law enforcement at the federal level. When I came in, President Trump gave me a mandate to update and advance the capabilities of the FBI. And today we're also announcing for the first time ever in large format the DNA tools that are just outside this room. And what that means is we have a program now for state and local jurisdictions where we can immediately arrest an individual have their DNA collected and swabbed, run it against all of our databases and intelligence systems, and immediately populate derogatory information, outstanding search warrants, co-conspirators, and other perpetrators around the country. That is moving at the speed in which we need to move to combat violent crime in this country. That is what you are seeing up here. This is no small endeavor. We are going to replicate this operation for the next 95 days across the country because there are men and women in law enforcement like these folks up here who are willing to do exactly what needs to be done. It is extremely humbling to be here with multiple special agents in charge for my office, and it's extremely humbling to see and meet the folks. That's the best part of my job, coming out, getting out of D.C. As I said outside, it's pretty darn nice here, and I can't believe it's so close to D.C. But it's a privilege and an honor to be here with these folks and work in great communities right here, like in Martinsburg, West Virginia. So I want to thank the Martinsburg Police Department, our SWAT teams, Jefferson County, West Virginia SWAT, HSI SWAT, DEA, for their relentless work and dedication to this mission. That's the message here. Mr. Mayor, thank you for leading the charge out here as well. The mission is teamwork. If you're going to crush violent crime and defend the homeland, there is no one entity on earth that can do it alone. That is the singular message that President Trump gave me. It requires partnerships. It requires backing the blue. And if you ask these folks up here, they know we got their backs. They also know that if you touch a cop, we're going to put you down every single time. You don't get to touch law enforcement in this country anymore and get away with it. Law enforcement is here to protect our country. It is an apolitical mission. This FBI has led the charge to reduce homicides in this country by 20 points across the board. This FBI has led the charge with our state and local partners to reduce violent crime by 10 percentage points in every single state of this union. That has never happened in the history of the FBI. I'm proud of the work that we do. It is an honor and a privilege to lead these brave men and women of law enforcement. I'm humbled. I've got the easy job. They got the hard job. They go out there every single day. But I want you to take away one thing. It is a team haul. The Department of Justice, the Attorney General, President Trump, this entire administration, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the State Attorney's Office, the prosecutors at every single level who have the courage to take cases that are hard to bring and bring them. And then work through the evidence with our law enforcement and mete out due process. Yes, we will give every violent offender, every gangbanger, and every terrorist will get the due process that the Constitution affords them because that is what this country demands. And we will give it to them. And then we will work through the court process and make sure we put them down and send them away for as long as we possibly can so they never infiltrate our streets again. We are sending a loud and clear message to the United States of America right here from Martinsburg, West Virginia, that the FBI and Operation Summary 2.0 is officially open for business, and this is what business looks like. Thank you, everybody.